Right then. Let's get this shit show on the road then, shall we? Hang on. Where's my audio? Okay. Volume's fine. Let's get the host up. Right. Let's go from about here. We'll give it a couple more minutes, let some people come in. How long's it been? Mute the phone. It's been about long enough. Screw it, let's go. So, welcome to Lago Maggiore, one of my favourite tracks on this season's calendar. I'm not going to really go through the standings because, well, we kind of all know roughly where people are. On top of that, I'll go through them at the end. So, I'm going to do my normal thing of going through the grid. So, in 16th position, we have... Hang on a minute. Why is this so wrong then? That's better. Right. Funny enough, not much has changed. In 16th position, we still have Yuri. In 15th, we have NTO. 14th, we have Danger. In 13th, we have another driver called The Weapon. I'm not sure how I'm going to say that over comms, but we will have to wait and see to see if I don't get demonetized. Is there a name tag on there? It's just The Weapon too. Okay, cool. So, welcome. I believe it is your Tier 4 Blue debut. Welcome. As a reserve driver. Let me mute that for a moment. In 13th we have Obi-Wan. In the 12th, excuse me, we have Obi-Wan. In 11th we have Jezza. Rounding off the top 10 is D-Dubs with Radiate in 9th position. We then have BT, not BT7274. No, it's not Titanfall. I'm going to say BT if that's okay with you. In 8th, another reserve driver, so welcome. We then have Zab in 7th. Sir Tracy in 6th, a great qualifying session from Sir Tracy. Kanata in 5th. How on earth am I going to say that? I'm going to say Gons if that's okay with you. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. Welcome, another Tier 4 Blue reserve driver. I think it is a debut for them this season as well. Welcome to the grid. In 3rd we have Tommy, our championship leader. In 2nd we have got Astro, and then in pole position we have got Tom. So let's get going as we've got 5 red lights and away we go. Who gets a good start? It looks like Guns, gets a great start in that Porsche. Tommy also gets a good start. The Porsche in P3 holds off the rest of the pack, just trying to have a little attack onto Tommy in P2 and gets a lightning exit. This is the new Porsche GR3 car, so he's very, very lucky to be driving it. It's also the first time I think we've seen it on the ALR grid this season. Great start considering it's a Porsche going up the inside of Tommy, now firing it out of the corner, takes the lead as Tom goes out wide to Astro, now up into P2. Both Porsches are up into the top 2 positions. Astro now trying to go up the inside of his sort of like very distant teammate. Astro now goes up into the inside, gets first. Gons gets the switch back and gets back up into P1. We're going to go back through the rest of the grid. Tom in P3, Radiate in P4. Great start from Radiate. Tom E down into 5th. Kanata's in 6th. Sir Tracy's in 7th. Obi-Wan's in 8th, going around the outside of BT, who's in 9th. Zab yeah, we're going to let these two sort it out. Zab's rounding off the top 10 at the moment. D-Dubs is in 11th. Yuri's in 12th. A great start from the back of the grid. NTO fighting Jezef in 13th and 14th. The Weapons in 15th, and Danger's bringing up the rear at the moment. We're going to go back to the front as we come charging down the hill into the hairpin. And you can take a lot of curb on that hairpin as we go a bit further back. We've got battles everywhere at the moment. I'm going to try and have to keep my eye out. We're going to go a bit further forward as Tommy's got himself a 1 second penalty for, I'm guessing, corner cutting the S's. Goss was landing in the hole. Oh dear. Oh dear. Needs to put another couple of euros in the meter, I think. So Goss is in P1 in that new Porsche. I reckon that new Porsche is going to be something to contend with. It's already doing Goss really, really well in this opening lap, so Goss takes up the lead. We're all slotting into the slipstreams. We're going to jump on board with Zab, who's going to try and contest Obi-Wan for 9th position. D-Dubs gets a little bit of a better exit. He's out a bit wider, hangs out wide, gets thrown off onto the dirty side of the track just a little bit. Yuri gets turn, I believe it's turn 5, slightly wrong. Zab uses all the track and a little bit extra. Track limits does allow you to do that there. We're going to go a bit further forward. Kanata putting Tommy under pressure as we're coming into the S section for the second time. Radiate had a little bit of a moment as we come out of the downhill tricky hairpin. You can take a lot of curb as Kanata does not want to take any sort of curb at all. Get these corners right and you can gain lots and lots of time. That's not the line either, Tommy. As in the background, so Tracy gets a very good run on Kanata. Kanata to the right, so Tracy on the left. I have heard something has happened to this particular driver. I don't know when, I can't remember when. Now Tommy serves his penalty. Kanata goes through for P5. Tommy holds on to P6 at the moment. BT coming in from absolutely nowhere. We're going to come back and have a look at that. BT absolutely spires it up the inside, gets up the inside of Tommy, uses the inside curb. Tommy now has to fight, and does he have the better traction or slightly better traction coming up the hill? He's got the inside line for the left. It's now going to turn to the outside line for the right. As there's a tiny little bit of touch, there's a little bit of break. Off the road goes Tommy, so Tracy goes into the back of Tommy. Here comes Zab. Zab's going to try and capitalise on these guys having a little squabble. Just about manages to hold that Lexus around the outside. Tommy's down into P10. His eSports teammate D-Dubs is just behind him in 11th. He's got Yuri to contend with though in the back. Let's go a bit further forward. Let's go up the front. Astro's gone up into the lead over Gons. It's Porsche v Porsche. The old Porsche, that was a very, very strong car compared to the new one. What's the difference going to be? The inside and dash looks a little bit nicer. I actually haven't driven this car yet, so I'm not exactly 100% sure on where this car sits and lays, as there's a little bit of an argy-bargy and has gone forces its way through. Back up into P1, Astro down in P2. Tom and Radiate still in 3rd and 4th, so it's a great day for the GTRs at the moment. Kanata's in 5th, so another good day for the Porsches in the sprint race. BT's opening up a gap in 6th, so Tracy's in 7th. Zab is in 8th, Obi-Wan's in 9th. Tommy's in 10th. Still being chased down by D-Dubs, who's in 11th. Yuri's dropped back off D-Dubs, but he's now got pressure from behind from the Weapon. We're going to jump on board. As he swings to the right, Yuri comes all the way over to the right-hand side of the track, tries to defend the line. How late does he leave it? They both break about the same sort of time. Weapon's still up the inside. Yuri's still around the outside. Yuri's going to have a slightly better run as we come up the hill. Here comes NTO. NTO's managed to hit the corner a lot shallower and carry a lot more speed. Is he going to be able to relieve Yuri of a bit of pressure? No, he's not. He's not going to be able to drive the car at all. That solves that issue quite quickly. Oh, the Weapon gets a little bit of a bad exit. This allows NTO to try and capitalise. He gets a bit closer. I'll come back further forward in just a moment. Weapon leaving NTO enough space. Coming through the final corner. Danger's in 15th. He's going to start sniffing a position or two in a moment, and Jez is just behind him as we're going to come nearly 4 wide. We're definitely 3 wide. We're potentially 4 wide. No, 3 wide into turn 1. Danger's right up on the inside. NTO's going to lose out on 2 positions here. Jez is playing it smart. He's just backing off a little bit. No, never mind. He's not playing it that smart. Weapon's still in 13th. Danger's in 14th. Now 15th. NTO tries to go around the outside. Does go around the outside. Jez has got a good run. Playing it wise. Waiting for these guys to have the inevitable crash. Like, there it is. So through goes Danger. Through goes NTO. The Weapon falls down 2 places. Can Jezza capitalise on this too? We're going to go a bit further forward as Danger gets up into the P13. Jezza goes up the inside of the Weapon as we come charging up the hill. The Weapon's going to have the inside line for the S's. Jezza gives the space. We're going to jump further forward. Gons serves his penalty. It's a half-second penalty. Astro's going to catch up to the back of him. These two are really starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. The 2 GTRs are together with Kanata just behind. Can the GTRs hold off Kanata for the next 4 laps? Let's come back a little bit. BT still in 6th. With Sir Tracy still in 7th position. Great race from Sir Tracy at the moment. Doing a lot better than in previous races. He's got the hazard lights on. Just for extra precaution, I'm guessing. Zappa's in 8th. Tommy's in 9th. Obi-Wan's in 10th. Oh, Tommy was in 9th. He's now not going to be in 9th. As he finds his way into the wall. Down he goes into 11th position, potentially 12th. He might fall back behind his team. No, he's not going to fall back behind his teammate. So our championship leader's not having the sprint race he imagined and wanted. I should have. As he still can't get that car to stop. He's still struggling to get that car to turn. His teammate's going to go around the outside of him, going through turn 2. Tommy drops all the way down to P12. Yuri's got damage as well. Further up ahead, D-Dubs is in P10. Back where he started this race. And Tommy's still struggling to get this car going. Through goes Danger. Danger's now having a great run. Would you like to talk about Pagan? What's happened to NTO? Of course, it happens just as we leave him. I completely missed this. We're going to come back and have a look. Because it is the helper of this tier. That might need some explanation. That's going to need some explanation. So the Weapon gets a great drive coming out of the hairpin and going up the hill. Gets past Jezza. NTO's got a good run up the hill. No, he had a good run going up the hill, and around he goes. Oh, God. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, what's going on here? Anyway, moving on to much more important things. Let's get back to whereabouts we were. We were about here. So, Radiate and Tom have swapped positions. Radiate now in P3, Thompson P4. Kanata's got a great run going up against P5. He's now up into P4. He's on the outside of the first section of these S's corners, though. Tom keeps the car in the perfect position, uses the curb, keeps the speed up. This forces Kanata out wide. He's lost a bit of momentum, a lot of momentum, actually. So Kanata now down in P5. He's going to have to redo that move and redo all of that work all over again. He's losing a little bit of time to these guys who are This is good teammate workmanship here. Bumping each other down the straights, trying to push and pull themselves away. Oh no. Oh, you were hoping I missed this, weren't you, Astro? Into the hairpin. Let's see what you do. No, big tank slap runner. Into the wall goes Astro.
I don't want to talk about it.
Of course you don't want to talk about it. I caught it. Not much escapes my eye. So, Astro finds himself down in P10 after fighting for second position for so long. He could be susceptible to Yuri here. We're going to stay with Yuri just for another moment or two as those two behind, Danger and Tommy are behind us having a little fight. Astro manages to just about keep hold of P10. He's got a bit of dirt on his tyres though, so we can understeer a little bit. With 3 laps to go, coming up 2 laps to go, Yuri's going to see P10's right in front of him. He's probably going to be thinking to himself, I want that for the reverse pole. Astro's going to want to keep it for as long as possible. Astro keeps the car firmly planted as... Why is there... I'm sorry, what? People just... Did someone leave or pit? Who left? Oh, it's God. So the other Porsche driver, Gons, I think, did he just disconnect? Because if he's disconnected, this promotes Radiate up to P1. I disconnected. Okay. Radiates up into P1. Tom's in P2, so it's a GTR 1-2. Kanata's in P3. With BT's in... And he was like, okay. It looks smooth on my side, which is why I was a bit like, huh? So Kanata now finds himself into P3 after watching his teammate completely stack it and the other Porsche lagging out. This promotes everybody up a position. This fight has just become a lot more intense. BT's in P4. He sees a podium finishing position. Sir Tracy's in 5th, top 5 finish. Zab's in 6th, Obi-Wan's in 7th, D-Dubs is in 8th, Astro's in 9th. Yuri's in reverse pole at the moment. Kanata gets a great run as we come out of the hairpin. Tom's going to be a little bit hung out to dry by his teammate, but he's going to try and defend his teammate for as long as possible. Kanata goes off a little bit wide. Tom follows him. Through goes BT. BT's just playing the smart game. He's playing this very, very well. Letting the other cars fight themselves around, lose a load of time, and then just take the scraps and take the positions. BT gets a great run as we come out the final corner. Kanata defends the inside straight away. BT does not follow. He stays to the right hand side of the circuit, keeps the corner nice and open. Is he going to look for the switchback? He opens up the second corner. Kanata keeps it tight. He manages to trail brake and keep the car nice and snug to that apex line, which has helped him a lot. Kanata's managed to open up a little bit of a gap. Still holds P2 through this sequence of corners at the moment. Tom's just behind. His tyres are not looking good. We're going to do a bit of a tyre check here. Out of everybody in the top 4, Kanata's got the best tyres on the front. Let's go back a little bit further. So Trey, wow, they're nearly dead. Jesus, and so Zab's tyres. Zab's tyres are falling down the cliff as well. Obi-Wan up into P6. Much better tyres than Zab. Zab's going to struggle a little bit here. D-Dubs is in 8th. The best tyres I've seen. Astro's in 9th. Yuri's in 10th. Jez is in 11th. Danger's in 12th after passing Tommy for 13th. Weapons in 14th, and NTO's bringing up the rear at the moment. We're going to come back to these guys. I think it's safe enough to take a drink with this group. I can't remember which group it was, but there was a particular group where I couldn't even take a drink without something happening. Looking in the background, Zab been passed by D-Dubs too, so Zab's tyres, and Zab's really struggling and falling down this pack at the moment. D-Dubs defends the right inside line. Astro's in the background, looking for potential promotion up in position or two. Astro holds the fastest lap of the race at the moment. As we come on to the final lap of this race, there's a tiny little bit of contact coming into the final corner. That pushes Zab a little bit wide. We're going to go forward quickly. Let's check on the top guys. Nothing's going on. Let's come back. As Jez has gotten past Yuri for P10, here comes Astro, deep, very deep on the brakes, very late on the brakes, makes the move stick as well. We're going to come back and we're going to watch these two have a little bit of a fight. Jez has gotten past Yuri for P10. Jezza goes just about manages to get that Ferrari to make the final corner. Yuri gets a much better run. Jezza pulls on the left, tries to defend the inside line. Yuri opens it up to the right. Yuri brakes a lot later on the brakes. Jezza holds his line. Yuri goes off the circuit, rejoins the circuit just in front of his teammate. His teammate might be able to... No, his teammate's not going to be able to do anything because he... What the hell happened there? Oh no, Yuri just... Oh, poor AMGs. Tommy gets way too happy on the throttle and then torpedoes into the side of Yuri. So both AMGs were in a very good position for at least one of them to get the reverse pole. That's now been absolutely pulled away from them. They're down in 13th and 14th position. Let's go a bit further forward. Zab's tyres are still dropping off the cliff. Sir Tracy under pressure from D-Dubs and from Astro as too. And Astro gets a much better sequence of corners, does a little nice switchback as there's a bit of contact between these two. Sir Tracy's tyres are very close to death as two. They are not that far from death. These two are going to struggle a bit in the feature race. Astro gets up the inside. Sir Tracy holds 7th. Okay. That's where it was. I've seen and I've heard about this. Okay. So Astro makes a... Yeah, I've seen and heard about this, and I'm going to be very, very careful with what I say. This, I think, was a very late lunge, but also Sir Tracy did leave the door open. So you could say this was a fair move. You get a great run here. You can quite evidently see. They're not too happy about it. I can understand. This, on the other hand... is wrong. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's has a place here, but that is up to the stewards to decide. I do, however, know the outcome because obviously the stewards' reports has been released, so we'll go through that in just a moment. That, in my view, is wrong. Very wrong and a bit naughty too. But it's up to the stewards, and if it's been reported, it's down to the stewards to deal with. It's not down to me to do anything. I am just here to commentate. So, we're going to come around, Brady 8 comes out the final corner with a very, very strong drive in that GTR, comes over to win, I believe, his first sprint race, definitely for this season. Kanata's in 2nd, BT's in 3rd, Tom's in 4th. Everyone comes over the line for 5th position. Great race from him. Sir Tracy's in 6th. D-Dubs is in 7th. Astro's in 8th. Zab's in 9th. Jezza gets 10th and reverse pole. Danger's in 11th. The Weapon's in 12th. The AMG boys are picking up the rear. Tommy, your championship leader, has had a race probably to forget in 13th. Yuri's in 14th. And then we got the straggler bringing up the rear in 15th. Coming over the line in style as always, and I love it. So for those of you who have had their head under a rock, the incident that I kind of slightly broke down, the stewards have ruled from their decision. I'll talk about it as I'm going through this. They have agreed that it's a 15. It's the maximum penalty the stewards can give before it's escalated, which is a 15-second penalty.
It was a bit of a move, but I think I was there enough.
I'm not going to say much, quite simply because it's the stewards to decide what was fair, if that makes sense. Personally, I do feel that you were there. I feel it was a bit of a cheeky move, but you were there. But then again, like I said, it is down to the stewards to decide where you were and if it was within the rules or not. So Sir Tracy has been given a 15-second penalty for that incident. I'd say he's lucky. The fact that he's only gotten that. Personally, I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to open a can of worms that just like messes up everything. So, on to the feature. Yeah, I kind of wanted to address that quickly before we pushed on because that is that is something that kind of does need to be covered. So, the strategy here. The strategy here, you can do one or two things. You can do either the one stop or the two stop. The one stop can be fractionally quicker than the two. It depends on where. For those who are doing the two stop, it depends on what tire you go on, where you come out, and how much pace you have. I did the two stop. I did a medium, soft in the Jag. A medium, soft is potentially doable. You've just got to manage a bit more. So I'm expecting a lot of the medium runners on the opening few laps to try and pull away from the gap, and I'm expecting a lot of the people on the mediums to do the two stop. Zab, for example, I'm expecting to do the long stint hard mediums strategy. So this is going to be very interesting. Now, I'm a little bit worried because Zab and Sir Tracy used a lot of their soft tyre on 2 times tyre wear. Now we're up to 5. I'm a little bit concerned that these guys might not be able to do the distance. Anyway, right, Jez is on the mediums, Zab's on the hards, Astro's on the hards, D-Dubs is on the hard. So Tracy's on the medium, so both Lexus drivers doing something different. There's only 2 medium runners in the top 5 at the moment. Obi-Wan's on the hards, Tom's on the mediums, BT's on the hards, Kanata's on the hards, Radiate is on the hards. So at the top 10 there are 3 medium runners. Okay, this is going to be a good race. Danger's on the hard. Weapons on the mediums. Tommy, Yuri and NTO are also on the mediums. So there could be a lot of action at the back. So let's let the old man lead off the race. Take us away. And away we go. Who's going to get a good launch? Who's going to get a good start? As we're all going to dip into the slipstream of each other. Jez is going to take us away as we come into turn 1 for the first time. Astro looking a little bit racy already. D-Dubs is in 4th. Let's see who makes any moves. Radiate's already having to defend from danger. Weapons already having to defend from Tommy too. Tommy's in the background, does not decide to spin out and crash into his own teammate for the first time this race, which is always a great start. Going a bit further forward. So Tracy's out on the left hand side. Everyone's trying to make some good moves already. Tom all the way down into 7th position already. Obi-Wan pressuring Sir Tracy. There's a little bit of bumps and contacts as we come into the hairpin. Tom goes up the inside, gets a switchback, gets a much better drive. So Tracy on the right hand side, or left, excuse me. Tom's being squeezed over to the wall. You guys are doing better than tier 3. You guys got past the first half of the track without crashing. So Tracy now down into 6th position. We're going to go a bit further forward. D-Dubs is in 4th, Astro's in 3rd, Zab's in 2nd. Everyone's holding position apart from these guys in the middle at the moment. Everyone pulls to the inside. Is he going to brake a little bit later? No, he's not. So Tracy's on the mediums. Unlike Tom, who's off into the dirt, Tom goes down, off into the dirt, down or the order he goes. We're going to go a bit further back. Radiate struggling to get past Danger. Danger up into 9th position, starting in 11th. Tommy's in 11th. Weapons down to 13th after having a little bit of contact with Tom, and off he goes. NTO upper position, Yuri upper position 2. Radiate being hung out to dry a little bit. Tommy is just woken up and has learned how to drive that car for the first time this race. Oh, NTO gives Yuri a big push that then pushes Tom off wide and off the final corner. So Tom now down to 13th, potentially about to be 14th. No, NTO pushes him down. So Tommy, P10.
Before this, but Ducks messed up the settings. But we did 8 laps, so I feel like everyone was annoyed and went full send.
D-dubs. I can't believe you guys did 8 laps and then had to oh, that's harsh. So Tommy gets a beautiful switchback on Danger. Up through goes Tommy. Down goes Danger. It's become a little bit further back. Radiate's trying to defend from the other AMG. The other AMG has now been forced way out wide into a different country from the looks of things. And you're not insistent. What was... Oh dear. Tom's not having a great race at all. What happened here? Did you just turn in like Yuri wasn't there? Oh, ooh.
Maddox was leading that one as well, so I feel so bad for him.
Oh. I am highly surprised that this was not reported. That's why it wasn't reported. Yuri waits. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Maddox is not having a great race at all. Poor Maddox. Engine damage, bumper damage, suspension damage a lot. Yuri does the right thing, pulls right over. He's waiting for him, which is... Alright, fair enough. We're going to go a bit further forward. Jezza pulling away from the pack at the moment. He really needs to be using those medium tyres to the best of his ability, trying to open up that gap. Zab's in 2nd, Astro's in 3rd, so Tracy's in 4th. And then the person who cannot get anything right in settings is in 5th, so I'm told. Ooh. Has Sir Tracy just... Has Sir Tracy caused some chaos? Or has just got a great run? Nope, got a great run. Got a very good run. Tries to get up the inside of that teammate Zab. Zab goes off a little bit wide, so Tracy now goes up into P2. Astro follows in P3. Zab, after a couple of laps of great defence and defiance, falls down to P4. Astro tries to have a look up the inside of Sir Tracy. Sir Tracy shuts that door very firmly shut, gets shoved off wide. Astro doesn't look like they counter it. Doesn't look like they go through. These two have had a little bit of history in that previous race, as we just witnessed. So Astro falls down behind, doesn't overtake Sir Tracy, so there's not a push to pass. These two are starting to pull away from Zab a little bit. Behind D-Dubs, he's now under pressure from Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's now got the inside line for this corner. As we fall into the right. It's now power of traction, and Obi-Wan wins that one. Excuse me, as I'm just trying to demodel my words. D-Dubs is in 6th, BT's in 7th. The hard tyre drivers are starting to fall back a little bit into the clutches of the mediums. The medium runner of Tommy is having a great run on BT. Does he manage to have the momentum to make a move into the hairpin? I don't think he does. He has to lift out of it a little bit. So he might not have a good enough run to challenge into the hairpin. Oh no, you haven't. Well, Tom's parked I think Tom's parked up. Which I don't think's actually allowed anymore. Or did he just step away so he doesn't... I mean, if he's parked up for like a lap or two to step away to cool off and come back, I can respect that. Just cool off, cool down for a minute. Because he's had a horrible opening few laps. He was way up high in the positions, up like, I think it's top 5 at one point, and then fall right down. So I completely feel for him. And parking up, I think, is a more sensible thing to do. So let's go through this. Tommy, P7, did manage to get past BT a little bit earlier as I was checking out what Tom was up to. Tommy now pressuring D-Dubs again, another eSports teammate.
Where he was leading the last that got cancelled, he must have been rightfully pissed.
Yeah, he was definitely pissed. So, as much as it could, I think it could be against the rules. You know what? The fact that he's just parked up for a minute just to cool off, and if he comes back, I'd be fine with that. Even if he's laps and laps down, he just drives his drive. I think that should slip a bit considering the race he's had so far, but I'm not the rule makers. It's not my place to say what the rules should or shouldn't be. Obi-Wan putting Zab under a lot of pressure at the moment. So Tracy's starting to chase down Jezza, as in the past couple of laps that gap to Jezza has severely shrunk. Zab's doing a great job at the moment of holding up Obi-Wan. Astro's just ahead. These are the top 3 runners on the hard tyres. The other 2 are on the mediums. They both got very similar amounts of fuel, so Tracy's used a little bit more of their medium tyre. Tommy on the charge at the moment has opened up a very healthy gap to D-Dubs. Gets a great run out the final corner, has become charging down the start-finish straight as Tommy is lighting up the timing screens at the moment, the fastest lap of the race. Does look up the inside of Obi-Wan, doesn't commit though. Backs off, opens up the second corner, doesn't spin out, comes all the way out to the white line, nearly touches the grass on the exit. We're going to come back as BT's challenging D-Dubs at the moment for P7. Danger, nearly losing it as he's got Kanata just behind him. P10, we're going to go a bit further forward as BT's gotten a much better exit. D-Dubs is hanging out wide, can't quite get that McLaren to switch and turn around. He was looking for the switchback, but unfortunately not able to do that this time. BT up into P7. Tommy goes up the inside of Obi-Wan. We're going to come back and watch that. Obi-Wan struggles to get that car pointing in the same direction. Tommy goes straight up the inside of him, gets a good run, places his car in the right position, uses the curb, smoothly goes through, and now he's going to start challenging Zab very shortly. Obi-Wan has to do a tiny little lift. Doesn't do it completely flat. A bit further up ahead. So Tracy was in the slipstream range of Jezza. Let's just go back a little bit. So Tracy, yeah, definitely was in the slipstream range of Jezza. Comes out the wrong gear. Maybe second gear might have been a bit better for you. So Tracy definitely catching up onto the back of Jezza. Jezza, all he's got to do is just keep driving the way he's driving, because Sir Tracy's tyres is not looking favourable at the moment. We're lap 5 and you've used nearly 50% of your front left medium. Tommy all over the back of Zab. It's only taken a few corners for Tommy to catch up to the other Lexus driver. Let's go a bit further forward. Nope, nothing happening yet. We're going to come through and check the rest of the grid in a moment. No, we're not. We're going to stay here for just a minute. So Tracy's closed that gap right up to the back of Jezza. Jezza's just got to exist. He's just got to put his car in the right place at the right time. So Tracy manages to get that right hand up and done a lot smoother. Uses much more of the off run to try and keep the speed up. This kind of helps him a little bit. He's in the slipstream now. Has a good run. Doesn't quite get close enough for a moves. Jezza sits in the middle of the circuit. Keeps his car perfectly positioned. We're going to come back and we're going to watch these guys have a little scrap out themselves. Tommy's on the right, Zab's on the left. Tommy tries to hold the inside line, backs out of it, backs off. So I think Zab goes a little bit wide and understeers wide. Through goes Tommy. Here comes Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's managed to keep out of the trouble at the moment. Zab's falling down 2 positions. Tommy's now going to have to leave a bit of a gap to Obi-Wan on the inside. Now he's going to have the inside line for the right. Uses his medium tyre, uses the curb, keeps car perfectly positioned. Tommy's now up into P4. Bear in mind he started back in like P12 or 13, so he's doing a great job at the moment. The rest of the grid looking okay. D-Dubs is in 8th, Danger's in 9th, Canata's in 10th, Radiate are sprint winner just behind P10 at the moment. Weapon is in 12th, a little bit off the pack. Way further back off the pack is NTO. What are you doing? Saving as much fuel as humanly possible, I think. And then Yuri's at the back of the pack at the moment. Coming back to the front. Jezza's still in the lead, so Tracy's still just behind. But these guys are having a little bit of a fight now, and this is going to start bringing Astro into the mix. What are the tyres looking like? Jezza's tyres are looking a lot better than Sir Tracy's.
Tio is sandbagging for no reason. It's
I don't know. I think a little bit. I think NTO might be trying to back off into Yuri so them two can have another fight like they did last week. I think. So Jezza gets a good first couple of corners. Manages to open up the gap to Sir Tracy. Sir Tracy's tyres are not looking healthy at all. There you go, Jezza's tyres just coming up to the 50% mark. Sir Tracy's coming up to the 25% mark, I think, from looking at that. So it's not going to be too long till Sir Tracy might have to... Oh, Jez has made a slight mistake as he comes into the S's, so all that time he's just gained has been lost in one corner. Sir Tracy's got the momentum. What can Jezza do? It's now going to be a straight fight down this back straight. Is he going to defend? Or is he going to let Sir Tracy go? I think he's just going to let Sir Tracy go as Jezza sits to the left-hand side of the circuit. Sir Tracy's on the right-hand side of the track. As we come into the hairpin, yeah, Jezza just lets him go. Probably a little bit wiser from Jezza, maybe just to hook up on the back of Sir Tracy. Sir Tracy's tyres not looking the best either. This could be a good move from Jezza, and could be a very smart play from Jezza, potentially just trying to save a bit of fuel as well, sitting in the slipstream, being pulled along as he tries not make any little mistakes. Astro's in P3, starting to catch up to the back of these guys. His tyres are looking in much better shape. Now Tommy's in P4, the charging Tom. Starting to slowly close the gap down to the top 3, opening up the gap to Obi-Wan, who's in 5th, still on the hard tyres. Zab's in 6th, with BT in 7th. D-Dubs is in 8th, slowly closing in and chasing down the top, into the top 5. Danger's in 9th, being challenged by Kanata, who's in 10th at the moment. Oh, sorry. As both these guys are on the hard tyres, so it's going to be an even fight. Kanata sits on the inside. Danger tries to sit around the outside, hold the speed. Radiate's going to get involved too, as now it's a 3-way fight for P9. Kanata holds P9 at the moment. Danger gets that Jaguar hooked up. Can he get the power down? He does manage to get the power down, but Kanata's just a bit too quick. Danger doesn't take the section flat. This opens up the door to Radiate, who is now a lot closer to the back of Danger. Radiate pulls to the right, but Danger's still got the toe of Kanata just ahead of him, and that Jaguar's got some good legs on it, as we're going to find out this evening at Fuji. Let's come back. Yeah, the weapon's still just at the back. Yeah, these two are having a fight. I thought they would. We're going to come forward to more important matters than these two having a little battle. Kanata slowly opening up the gap. Radiate sends it down the inside. Danger sees the move, keeps the car to the left, opens up the corner and leaves him some space, but keeps the speed critically, which is allowing Danger to stay ahead at the moment. We're going to go a bit further forward. Tommy comes into the pits. So Tommy's the first driver to come into the pits for a tyre change and not to sit in there. I'm not trying to dig at anybody, but Tommy's the first driver to do so. Astro's caught up to the back of Jezza. Jezza's still behind Sir Tracy, so Tracy's tyres are not looking good. Jezza's starting to burn up his tyres a little bit. And Astro's tyres are being burnt up a little bit too, as we're coming into the sort of like the halfway point of this race. For those doing the two-stop, I'm expecting them to be coming in, well, a lap or two ago. So unless some people are doing the one-stop in a slightly different way. Where's Tommy come out? Tommy's come out on the medium, so he is doing the two-stop. He's come out a little bit. He's come into the pits a little bit later than I would have thought he's done. Unless he's doing 8-8 and then 5, maybe 6, 8-8-6, maybe 8-5. Just behind, Kanata also came into the pits. He's come out in 12th position, just ahead of these two. I tell you what, if I'm have a lack of action, I'm coming back to these two. Yuri up the inside of NTO. NTO now has the inside, also has a little bit of an extra run and better run as we come into the S section for the first time with these two. Both of them slam through the S's perfectly. Yuri pins the foot, keeps his foot absolutely pinned through the S section. I don't think NTO does. NTO struggled. Looks like he struggled a little bit through that S section. Yuri swings the inside at the last minute. NTO gives him a little bit of space as Yuri doesn't find a way through this time. We're going to go a bit further forward. Jezza back into the lead of this race. Astro's in second. Where is... oh dear. Oh dear, I missed something. Oh no, so Tracy lights up the tyres completely on their own. Now is in the middle of the track. Slams it into the wall on the right hand side, so down the order they go. So Sir Tracy leading this race for a fair few number of laps now. Drops it on the exit of the hairpin in the dirt and the gravel. Falls all the way down, does some damage to his car, and look at his tyres too. So Sir Tracy down into 9th position. Jez is still in, back up into P1. Astro just behind as well, so this is now going to release Jezza. Give him some clean air that his tyres desperately need. He now needs to make these tyres last a little bit longer if he wants to potentially look at doing the one stop. I don't know what strategy he's actually doing now. If he's doing the one stop, he wants to make these mediums last as long as possible, so he doesn't have to do as many laps on the hards. Astro could, if he's doing the one stop, he could come in and undercut Jezza, could come in this lap. Some of these guys could actually come in and do an undercut here. It depends on how long they think they can make these mediums last. BT definitely could come in and undercut. Well, lap 10 is hards are doing really good. So could D-Dubs. the Jags might struggle a little bit, but it's definitely possible. I think Radiate might even be in a small position too as well. So, Weapons still in 9th position. Tommy is the first driver that came into the pit lane. He's in P10 at the moment. Kanato a little bit further back in 11th. So Tracy comes into the pits and now comes back out onto the hards. So Tracy potentially looking at maybe undercut a couple of cars ahead of them. NTO in 13th, being chased down by Yuri in 14th. These two are... Good save. Very good save. We're going to stay up front though. Astro chasing down Jezza. As we're coming up to the halfway point of it, well, we're at the halfway point of this race at the moment. These two have both got pretty much identical amount of fuel. Their tyre wear's about the same. No one opts for the undercut. They're both going to stay going. Everyone doesn't come in. Zab doesn't come in. BT stays out. D-Dub stays out. No one's opting for the undercut here. This is interesting. There goes Tommy in P10. Some people could have opted for the undercut, especially like back here. Zab, Obi-Wan, BT, D-Dubs could have opted for the undercut. Even Astro could have opted for the undercut, or even Jezza. So I'm a little bit confused on what the plan is. As Astro now goes up the inside, is Jezza at the hairpin? Can Jezza get the power down and potentially challenge as we come up the hill? I don't think he can. Astro's tyres have got a little bit too much life, I think, over Jezza. So Astro up into P1 and lap 11. Jezza having to do big amounts of lifts and a downshift, so he's losing a lot of time now. He definitely needs to look at coming in and swapping out his tyres. If you look at his lap times, they've been very, very consistent the entire time. I think it's now time to come in and swap out tyres. Good play. Stewart's standings have just been released too. That's perfect timing. Danger under pressure from Radiate at the moment. Radiate had a little look up the inside. Radiate does get his nose up the inside, loses the tail on a little bit on the exit. This is allowing Danger to pull away just a little bit. Weapons still in 9th. Tommy's now really reeling these guys in. Kanata's losing time to Tommy at the moment. You've still got these two, NTO and Yuri, at the back of the pack. So Tracy's way down the bottom of the pack now too. Astro and Jezza come in. Everyone stays out. D-Dubs is the next driver to come in. Danger stays out. Radiate comes in. Weapon stays out too. Where does Tommy come out in relation to the top guys? Oh, Jezza under fuels. I say under fuels, he puts a little bit less fuel in than Astro, so these guys are already challenging each other. Both of them are going for the one stop. Astro goes wide at turn 2. This allows Jezza to go right up the inside. Nearly goes into the side of him. Kanata's just behind these two as well. So Jezza is now the meat in the Porsche sandwich. Astro comes out in P7. Jezza's in P8. Tommy is way down the road in P6. He's got the weapon just ahead of him on nearly dead mediums. Everyone else ahead is yet to stop as Zab finds the grass and the dirt after the S section. BT's going to go round, carry the momentum, so Zab goes off the track down into P3 now. As Kanata finds his way through, let's just jump back a little bit. Kanata gets a much better run out of turn 4. We come into the hairpin. There's a tiny little bit of rear grip that's been lost by the Porsche driver. Up the inside goes Kanata. Down goes Jezza into P9. Kanata's up into 8th position. We're going to go a bit further forward. We're going to stay with Tommy for a minute. Yeah, we're going to stay with Tommy for a minute. So I have a feeling Tommy's going to catch Weapon in a few corners' time. Yeah, look at the tyre difference. Weapon's fronts are pretty much almost not usable. Well, we took an 120. Yeah, there's a 10 miles an hour apex speed difference. Tommy really reeling in Weapon at the moment. Which way's Tommy going to go? Tommy going to sit in behind, give Weapon a little bit of a push. Obi-Wan comes in. Weapon carries on. Wow, Weapon carries on. He's 3 seconds off his personal best. Tommy straight up the inside, not hanging around. Tommy's now up into P2. Weapon stays out, and I'm really gobsmacked on that. Unless Weapon's trying to do the medium soft. So Astro P4 at the moment. Kanata P5. This is going to be a good day for the Porsches at the moment. As we're going to go a bit further back. We're going to come back in just a few seconds. As Radiate comes out just as BT and Obi-Wan come out of the pits. Tries to go around the outside of them, slightly overcooks it a little bit going into the entry of turn 1. This is going to release BT and Obi-Wan a little bit. Everyone's now on their final tyre. No one's doing the 2-stoppers. Obi-Wan... Okay. I think this was talked about too. Obi-Wan comes out of turn 2. Gets a really good run. But BT has a slightly better run. BT goes a little bit slower through the corner. Leaves the corner completely open. Obi-Wan brakes late. Gets completely alongside. Leaves the space on the exit. That was a very good move there done by Obi-Wan. Caught BT sleeping a little bit. Obi-Wan up into P8. Going to start trying to pull away a little bit from this Peugeot. Just behind his Radiate. His tyres are all nice and warmed up, but BT's got a good run. Radiate has a good couple of corners. Closes that gap up to BT, has a lot more momentum. BT's on the left, Radiate's on the right as we're going to come down this back straight, down the hill. Who's going to be late on the brakes as we come up to the hairpin now? Both brake about the same sort of time. Radiate holds the inside line, gets the move done. BT's looked for the switchback. He's got a much better traction, much better exit. He's got a good run as we come up the hill. Radiate's going to hold the inside for the first corner. BT has to do a tiny little lift and a little fraction of a brake I spotted on his brake light to make the corner. Radiate holds 9th position. Zab finally comes in. I haven't even checked the fucking tyres of this guy and they are non-existent. There you go, full left lock, still understeering. He has to come in this lap, surely. He does come in. So Tommy's been released. Astro's been released. Kanata's been released too. So it's Porsche versus Mercedes. Jezza comes into turn 1 in P5. D-Dubs holds 5th at the moment. Wipes in front of Zab, who's in P6. Obi-Wan's in 7th. Radiates in 8th. BT's in 9th. Danger's in 10th, ahead of Sir Tracy in 11th. Weapon's going to probably come out in 12th. These two are doing the soft strategy, so these two are going to stop again. Yeah, Weapon's on the softs now, so he's... Weapon thinks he might be able to make this softs last to the end. This is going to be an interesting strategy. If he can, fair play, well done. I'm just a little sceptical, I don't think he can. NTO 13th, Yuri 14th, and unfortunately Tom's still in the pits, which is actually a shame. Would have been nice to see him come back out on track for a little bit. Tommy very much in control of the pack and the pace at the moment. He's going to start trying to open up that gap to Astro, who's in second. Tommy could look at a win here, but I think the win's going to go more Astro's direction. I don't think Tommy's going to pull out enough of a gap and stop and fuel as well. Jez is in P4. Could be looking at maybe a third or a second out of this. So it'll be a good night for Jezza. D-Dubs is in 5th. Zab chasing him for 6th at the moment. Obi-Wan's in 7th after making a good move on BT earlier. Radiate's in 8th, was chasing down Obi-Wan, but now he's got himself a half-second penalty, so he's going to drop just fractionally. BT's in 9th. We're going to stay here. No, he's not quite close enough. He's close, he's not quite close enough though. Zab, on the other hand, is close enough. Everyone's patience strategy starting to work out a little bit. .57.9 from Astro was that last lap, and a 58.8. So there's nearly 1 second difference there between Tommy and Astro. Astro on the advantage. That's a cracking shot through those sequence of corners. Jezza at the head of this train. Gonna stay with Radiates. Radiates lost a little bit of time to the back of Obi-Wan. He could be, I don't think he's going to be susceptible to BT. There goes the penalty. BT, is he going to be able to close up onto the back of Radiate? He's definitely closing. He's not closing enough to really sort of do much about it. He's in the slipstream though. So he's going to have to get a little bit of a pull coming up the hill if he decides to follow it. We're going to go forward a couple of cars. Zab putting D-Dubs under a lot of pressure at the moment. D-Dubs is on slightly used mediums. Zab's on fresh-ish mediums. As Zab tries to send it up the inside, D-Dubs holds it around the outside, doing a fantastic job at the moment of defending that 5th position. Zab later on the brakes, gets up the inside of D-Dubs, but he's going to be wide for the second part of this complex. D-Dubs holds the inside, leaves the space. Zab goes out and finds the dirt, but keeps the power down. Completely side by side with D-Dubs. D-Dubs holds his line, gives him space, goes up the inside. Obi-Wan capitalizes out of this and capitalizes the most. He then finds his way up the inside of Zab for P6. Zab's been sort of caught out there, almost a pants around his ankle sort of situation. Obi-Wan now pressuring D-Dubs. D-Dubs now got a new challenger to try and tackle. As we come up the hill, Jez is going to start pulling away a little bit. D-Dubs opens up the corner. Obi-Wan tries to stick his nose on the inside of that McLaren driver. Not going to work this time around. Looking up on the map, the gap between Tommy and Astro is coming down quite significantly. So Tommy's lead is very much in jeopardy here. We're going to watch from Zab's point of view. Oh, Obi-Wan has a little bit of a shake. Zab breaks a little bit later, sends it up the inside of Obi-Wan. As these two are having their own little fight, Zab gives Obi-Wan a very big squeeze out onto the gravel. Doesn't leave him too much space. As Obi-Wan has the inside line, now the outside line is going to find himself being pushed out onto the wall. Zab goes through. Obi-Wan goes back down. D-Dubs has got up to the back of Jezza. Jez is on the hard tyres. Bear in mind he started on the mediums, so he's, considering he's still in fourth and still ahead of this group, I'd say he's doing very well. D-Dubs all over the back of Jezza at the moment. Zab's going to start catching up, so's Obi-Wan. Radiate's being pulled into this group, and so is BT. BT's still in the slipstream tracks. As going a bit further up ahead, there's contact between D-Dubs and Jezza. We're going to go back and actually watch that and not look around the back of the grid. Oh, D-Dubs sends it from a different century. Tries to get past Jezza. Jezza not really suspecting an overtake there. This has now put D-Dubs in a very, very bad position because he was defending from Zab. Now he's got to try and re-attack Zab. Oberon and Zab trying to have a little look up the inside of both of their respective drivers ahead of them. Doesn't work. Jezza stays 4th. Zab stays 5th. D-Dubs stays 6th at the moment. Radiate's going to get involved in the next few corners. D-Dubs defends to the inside. Obi-Wan opens up the corner. Different lines means different. Look at the different lines, and I like the fact you can see two people taking the same corner two totally different ways. And the inside line looks a little bit quicker for some of these drivers, whereas the outside line looks a bit quicker a bit later on. Zab has got a great run through the S section, really up the back of Jezza now. Obi-Wan's got a great run, and D-Dubs as well. D-Dubs defends to the right straight away. Obi-Wan's still got a good enough run. D-Dubs trying to pinch him, Obi-Wan out to the right hand side. Zab's now alongside of Jezza as well, so they're going to make it 3 wide at the back here. Zab goes through for P4, Obi-Wan goes through for P6. BT's going to come through and take 2 people here. Going to give Obi-Wan a bit of a push as we come charging up this hill. Jezza's in 5th, Obi-Wan's in 6th. BT's going to go up the inside of D-Dubs. D-Dubs is holding off Radiate at the moment. Radiate's lost out the most. He's gone down to P9. Tommy comes into the pits for his final stop. Through goes Astro. Astro's going to take the lead of this race. I think Kanata's going to go through too. Tommy's got to be very careful he doesn't come out in this pack. Zab's trying to lead, trying to escape while he can. Jez is holding off 5th at the moment. Radiate's giving D-Dubs a bit of a push as we come through the final corner. Tommy's going to very much go behind this pack. He's going to lose out a fair few positions here. The 2-stop not working for him today. Obi-Wan trying to get his nose up on the inside of Jezza. Obi-Wan has a little bit of a snap of oversteer too. BT's going to capitalise. Going to send his car straight up the inside. He's going to repay the favour of what he got paid a few laps ago. Although he doesn't quite cover up the inside enough. Obi-Wan sends his car to the inside. Both drivers give each other just enough space, but BT holds it around the outside, uses all the track available to him. This is allowing Jezza to pull away up into P4. Zab's in P3. It's Porsche 1-2 at the moment. BT goes a little bit wide. Obi-Wan's still alongside. He uses the power of the Jag to try and push him up that hill as quick as humanly possible. D-Dub's still in 7th. As we're still side by side, we're going into the S section. Both of these drivers not wanting to give any sort of gap to the other one, but BT finally gets just ahead through going the left-hand corner. Obi-Wan's going to have a much better run though. D-Dubs defends to the right. If I was D-Dubs, I'd now pull to the left and use the slipstream. Obi-Wan's actually helping D-Dubs a little bit by giving him a bit of slip. D-Dubs holds his line, Radiate holds his line. Both drivers give each other just enough space as we come through the hairpin. D-Dubs gets a much better exit as we come up the hill. Obi-Wan still battling hard for that P5 position. Tommy comes out in P9, he's on the softs. Let's have a little look through the rest of the grid before we come back to those guys. Danger's in 10th, Weapons in 11th, and I don't think he's going to make those tyres last, and he's going to have to come in again. Search Trace is in 12th. NTO and Yuri have recently stopped for their last time there in the bottom 2 places. Astro is your race leader. Kanata's in 2nd. He might just make those tyres last the end. Zab's in 3rd. Jez is in 4th. BT's still in 5th. Obi-Wan's in 6th. D-Dubs in 7th, Radiate's in 8th. And just behind them, towering in with a lot of speed, it is Tommy. I'm not sure how much time Tommy's got to potentially try and get through some of these guys. Let's go a bit further forward. Obi-Wan doing the same move he did on BT a few laps ago. This time BT's wise to it, brakes a little bit more, gets a beautiful switchback, slams the power down at the right spot. Obi-Wan's now lost out a fair bit of time. He's now under pressure from D-Dubs. D-Dubs tries to have a look up the inside as we come into this hairpin. Not working this time. Take a drink while I can. I've kind of learned with you guys, take a drink when you can. Oh, everyone makes a tiny little bit of a lift. It might just be enough. He might have gotten away with daylight murder there. Might not be a penalty. Is that a penalty? It's not a penalty. Obi-Wan got away with that. Going a bit further up ahead, BT swings to the inside to try and attack Jezza going into the hairpin. Through goes BT. Jezza's still on the hards. Bear that in mind. Jezza's on the hards and he's battling guys on the mediums, so it should be a lot quicker, and he's holding his own. Radiate still challenging D-Dubs for 7th position. D-Dubs has got the line slightly wrong. He's just slightly compromised as there's a tiny little bit of contact through the exit of the corner. There always is if you're on the outside line. Obi-Wan tries to move up the inside of Jezza, not working. He hasn't got quite enough pace to get up the inside. Tommy is now here. Tommy on the softs has now arrived at the back of this party, and he's going to try and carve his way through this group as quickly as possible. He's got a much better exit, much better run on Radiate. He's going to try and dispatch as many of these as fast as possible. Gets a great run. He's just ahead of Radiate. Radiate's in the slipstream of D-Dubs just ahead of him. But it doesn't matter. Tommy's got the inside line into turn 1. The slowest corner on the circuit. As the clouds start coming over, I'm not suspecting any rain. I don't think I'd hear any rain either. D-Dubs does his best to try and get through. Obi-Wan does his favourite move on Jezza, makes it work, makes it stick this time. Jezza down into P6, Tommy up to P7, Radiate up into P8, who does get past D-Dubs finally, who's now down in 9th position. I know I'm sitting on Tommy, but he's dispatching this group with immense efficiency at the moment. Tommy does us different line, gets a much better run over Jezza. Jezza, like I keep saying, bear in mind, he's still on the hards. Tommy goes off onto the dust. Doesn't matter, Jezza's going to slot in behind him. Tommy's got enough momentum and he's got the move done. Radiate trying to follow Tommy as much as possible. Breaks a lot later than Jezza. Jezza still has the inside line as we come through the hairpin. Now we go up the hill. We got 1 lap left to go. Tyres, lives are very much going to be a thing now. We're going to go a bit further forward. Kanata's tyres are looking very, very close to death. He's got to be very careful because he's got Zab just behind in 3rd. BT's in 4th. Obi-Wan's in 5th. Tommy's in 6th position on a charge. Jez is in 7th. Radiate's in 8th with his tyres very near death too. D-Dubs is in 9th. Danger's in 10th. Weapons in 11th on a dead set of soft tyres. He's going to carry on. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting. So Tracy's in 12th on a fresh set of softs. NTO's in 13th. Yuri's in 14th, and these two are bringing up the rear and having a good battle for it too. Let's go back to this group. Let's come back. Yeah, we'll come back to these guys. I'll keep an eye on what Tommy's doing just up ahead. I know I've spent a lot of time here. My apologies, I've not spent too much time with the rest of the pack, but this is where the action is. Jezza does everything he possibly can to keep that car in 7th position. D-Dubs is just a bit too far back. Weapon comes into pit on softs on the final lap. He should have done that a lap earlier, and he could have potentially challenged for the fastest lap of the race. Although he does have it, so it doesn't really matter too much. Tommy putting Obi-Wan under a lot of pressure. Further up ahead is BT, who's not that far down the road, but I don't think Tommy's going to have enough. Not at the rate you're driving, Jesus Christ. And Tommy might have just thrown 5th position there. Yeah, these guys have enough fuel. Radiate might just about have enough tyres for it at the end. Radiate's still trying, he's still pushing on. We're going to go a bit further ahead though. Kanata has been passed by Zab, who's now in 2nd, but we're going to go to the driver who's held his own, done a one-stop strategy that's worked beautifully for him. Started towards the back of the pack, carved his way, I say back of the pack, mid-pack, carved his way through efficiently, and has done everything right today. Astro wins the feature race here at Lago Maggiore. Zab comes over the line for second position. A much needed uplift for the Lexus team. Zab's in P2. Kanata makes the strategy work by struggling a little bit for P3. BT's in 4. Obi-Wan's in 5th. Tommy holds 6th position. Jez is in 7th. Radiate's in 8th. D-Dubs is in 9th. Danger's in 10th. Wraps off the top 10. Weapon holds on to 11th at the moment. Well, I'd say holds off. He doesn't hold off 11th. He's got it quite clearly. Comes in so he doesn't lose that 11th position. A good race overall. Holds the fastest lap of the race too. Round the final corner for the last time in this feature race. P11 belongs to Weapon. P12 belongs to Satorisi. Then we're going to come back to these two hooligans, who seem to be scrapping it out more with each other than they do anybody else at the moment. Both of these guys on very, very low and little fuel. It is a battle of bragging rights, I think, and I think bragging rights is going to go NTO's direction today. Unless Yuri can pull out anything magical over the final corner, he tries his very best and it fails drastically. NTO comes over the line for 13th position. It's going to go NTO's way today, and Yuri brings up the rear with Tom in the pits, which is unfortunate. So there we have it. Thank you, Ross, for posting the standings a couple of minutes ago. Perfect timing. He has dropped down to P3 after not a very good day at the office for Tommy. Zab's in 4th with Obi-Wan in 5th. Looking over at the constructors is very much going Porsche's way. They're almost 100 points clear of the AMGs in 2nd, and the Jaguars are in 3rd position. Hope everyone has enjoyed. Take care of yourselves. Keep an eye out in the chat for the next comms, which will be after the season, obviously after the season, which will be Fuji. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all soon.